Well, I think this is making up for our Thanksgiving lapses, but nevertheless, we are live. We got a lot that we need to discuss. So a lot has happened over the last couple of hours that we need to discuss on, as Ross Dellinger and Marty Smith, both, along with Pete Thamel, both have, or all three, have been making some reports here that we need to discuss. Massive things are happening between LSU and Lane Kiffin that we will get to here tonight. We will talk about all those reports, and we will talk about Pete Thamel that he said. We'll go through some things that have transpired over the last hour and a half, 2 hours. As, guys, this looks like that it is going to be imminent. Now, I do not know how this is all going to conclude, because I really don't think Ole Miss completely knows how they're going to conclude this. But we got a lot that we need to get into. So let's waste no time here at 11:20 p.m. Central Standard Time at night. Couple of things I want to say. Number one, Lane Train, come on down. That's number one. Number two, everyone do us a favor by hitting the like and share. Share to all those groups if you're on Facebook, and to all those social media pages. You're watching us, listening to us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, notification bell. Wherever you listen to podcasts, rate, review, and subscribe. Do us a favor if you're on YouTube. Subscribe down below. We greatly, greatly appreciate you doing that. It's about 59.7% of you still have not subscribed that have been viewing the channel. Just do us a favor and hit the subscribe. You're going to want to know all the news that is coming out if Lane Kiffin is exactly or is going to be your head coach. So hit that subscribe button for you. Every AYS show is brought to you by our good friends over at FanDuel. Do us a favor by going over and downloading the FD Sportsbook app. I mean, games Lane Kiffin potentially going to win at LSU next year if he is the head coach. You can do that with our good friends and partners over at FanDuel. Download the app. Any thoughts, questions, concerns, you can go over to FanDuel.com/RG for more details. I see Super Chats flying in. You can send them. Like I see General Grievous says prepare the edits. Yes, you can prepare the edits. At least that's what it sounds like. So let's waste no time. We got a lot that we need to get into. About a couple of hours ago, Ross Dellinger of Yahoo Sports reported that Lane Kiffin's future hangs in doubt after a meeting with Ole Miss's chancellor's home over whether he may continue to coach at Ole Miss despite having intentions to leave for LSU. As they have now for a week, LSU believes that they hold Lane Kiffin's commitment to be their next head coach. Though his desire continues to be with Ole Miss during the postseason, it is a snag delaying the formalization of the move, sources tell Yahoo Sports. Dellinger also reports that the meeting, the Ole Miss chancellor's home, drew interest on a cold, rainy night in Oxford, Mississippi. At one point, a dark SUV showed up to crawl out in front of the home, and a woman emerged from the passenger side window, hanging out to snap a photo of the vehicles out in front. This meeting seemed to last about 4 hours, says Ross Dellinger. Athletic director for Ole Miss, Keith Carter, has already begun in engaging with candidates, notably John Summerall of Tulane and Alex Golish of South Florida. However, Florida pivoted from Kiffin, to Summerall, as we reported on Tuesday. The accelerated cycle, coupled with Kiffin's delay, put the Rebels in a difficult position, as many coaches have re-signed and are in negotiation with others. Auburn remains in a similar position as South Florida coach Alex Golish, despite deep talks with Arkansas, is unsigned. Last but not least, if Golish goes elsewhere, Auburn or Ole Miss and Arkansas are expected to shift attention. It previously interviewed Memphis head coach Ryan Silverfield, along with Alabama defensive coordinator Kane Womack. Also, to be brought up here, there will be a team meeting with Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin, the players and Lane Kiffin tomorrow per Neil McCready. A team meeting has been called at 9 a.m. tomorrow with Lane Kiffin and his team. So this seems to be going down. So let me tell you what we're going to do. We're going to talk good about it right now, as this seems to be trending in the direction. You don't call a team meeting in the morning if you're not leaving, right? Like this is, guys, this is pretty much getting to a conclusion. Tomorrow, when this is final, like final, we will be live yet again when it's final. This seems imminent. Now, everybody's like, oh, we've been hearing this word. We've been hearing this for days. We've been hearing this for a long time. I'm with you. I get it. But, guys, this is pointing in the direction of Lane Kiffin heading to LSU. So let's start off with this. Let me bring up Pete Thamel's report as well. I don't want to leave out Pete, as I think he's done a really good job here as well in all of this. But Pete Thamel also reported that the conclusion of the Iron Bowl tonight is one final variable in LSU's courtship over Lane Kiffin. The delay in finalizing the details of this decision, which increasingly appears obvious that he is heading to LSU, comes with Ole Miss, who will decide about him coaching in next week's SEC title game. Now, the Ole Miss Rebels are out, so it does seem like these things are starting to get finalized right now. Last thing before we start getting into these conversations, Marty Smith of ESPN reported that Lane Kiffin told him that there are not planes in Oxford to bring him to Baton Rouge tomorrow. Yeah, that's not a lie, because they're not in Oxford. Ross Dellinger is not pulling that out of his ass. He's not pulling that out of his ass. So what do we know at the current moment? There was a meeting between the chancellors, the athletic director of Ole Miss, and Lane Kiffin. From some things that I've heard post game of Oklahoma goes as follows. I hear that there are a lot of people that are very loyal to Lane Kiffin, a lot of people loyal in that building to Lane Kiffin, and things got pretty nasty in there. One thing is abundantly clear in all of this. Well, two things are abundantly clear in all of this. Number one, Lane Kiffin wants to massively coach this team in the playoffs. I have heard that LSU would have allowed him to coach in the playoffs with a decision. It seems as if Ole Miss is not allowing for that to happen. That's number one. He's always wanted to stay with this team. I will continue to emphasize this until I am blue in the face. I don't see the same Lane Kiffin of 3, 4, 5 years ago. That Lane Kiffin would have left and had no regard. He wants to finish this with his team. But I also understand the very tough situation that he's in, that this LSU job might not ever come open again. If the right person gets this job, it's over. And I think he knows that if he doesn't make this move now, then he's not going to be able to make this move in the future. This is it. The second part is, in which I have been steadfast on for weeks, if you've been listening to the show, which I think a lot of you have. LSU's never wavered, number one, on that part. Guys, the NIL part of this has been a massive factor. A massive factor. I think Ole Miss has tried in all of this to be able to show that they can do some of the same things that LSU can, in which they can't. Guys, the truth of the matter is, in all of this is, you have LSU and you have Ole Miss. And that part has been missed by Ole Miss people. It's still being missed. I think that their athletic director hasn't had the balls to make the move that he needs to make, or moves that he needs to make. But LSU's alignment with the governor, the president, the board of supervisors, and the director, Scott Ballard, and Verge Osbury, guys, it looks like that they got a grand slam here. They knocked this one out of the park. You're down 3, bottom of the ninth, and Tommy Tanks is up, and you knock this out of the park. Bear Jones hit one into deep right center field, pucker up, and kiss that baby goodbye. When all of this seemed like chaos, quickly 4 men aligned, and what was some pretty damn strong alignment, and got the best coach that they could get in the country that relatively they could go and get. Guys, this thing seems over to me. I think we're fighting over formalities at the current moment. What it sounds like to me, just reading the tea leaves, if this stuff continues to break, you're fighting over formalities. You're fighting over legalities. You're fighting over if you're going to allow Lane to coach or not. Now, I want to say this. I don't know what Ole Miss is going to do. I have no clue what Ole Miss is going to do here. None. No clue whatsoever. I would expect this thing to come out pretty soon. Yeah, team meeting. All right, so it's been confirmed. Team meeting for Ole Miss at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Guys, this is over. This is over. All right, hit the like and share. This bitch is over. Ba, da, da, da. Hold that tiger. We did it. We did it. Hold that tiger. We fucking did it. Let's go. This bitch is over. LSU got their guy. Yeah! All right. Let's see how this thing's going to play out. Marty Smith now confirming news. Ole Miss sources tell me Lane Kiffin will hold a 9 a.m. team meeting tomorrow morning and have an announcement regarding his future afterwards. Guys, this is over. He ain't calling. Don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. He's not calling a team meeting to tell him that he's staying. Well, shit, maybe he could. Oh, shit. He wouldn't do that. This is over. Neil McCready, by the way, from 247 says, confirmed via sources. All I know at this moment, you don't have to be a genius to figure this one out. I mean, guys, Ole Miss is saying that it's over. He's going to be calling Baton Rouge. So, to get back to the main point, I don't know what they're going to allow him to do. I just don't. I have no clue whatsoever what they're going to allow him to do. I don't know if Ole Miss is going to allow him to coach or not. I would highly doubt it. I would highly doubt it. And we're going to see what happens moving forward. Look, Lane Kiffin's brother's still on staff. I'm assuming that he's going to come along with his brother. And we'll get in the mix of this. Let me quote tweet this. All right. So, getting back on track. Guys, you showed a lot of alignment. In the beginning of all of this, when you fired Brian Kelly and you fired Scott Woodward, and the governor's out there making a lot of statements, public statements, that didn't really seem like it was good for LSU. You were without a president. You were having to pay $53 million to Brian Kelly. You were fighting legalities with him. And a lot of things seemed dire. Like, man, how are they going to pull this off? And you got to give Jeff Landry, because, guys, he's involved in this. I know Jeff Landry's out there saying that he has no involvement in this. That's a lie. Scott Ballard deserves a lot of credit in this. The chairman of the board of supervisors, Wade Roos, deserves a lot of credit and a lot of support for not backing down in any of this, especially him. And Verge Osbury. Guys, 4 guys that don't really know each other that well aligned very quickly with the appointment of Verge Osbury, and you went and got Lane Kiffin. Now, details will come out in all of this. Your contract, which I have been told, this is what I've been told. We'll get the final numbers on this. It's going to be probably a 7-year deal, a little bit north of $95 million is what I have been told, with some incentives based into that. There has been a guarantee to Lane Kiffin of what I was told north of $25 million per year for TV revenue, NIL, to get the best roster. Lane has already made conversations in reference to guys like Ed Orgeron. That's pretty much been confirmed. And I do think that he has been organizing his staff to what he could see and what he's going to do at LSU. This is a massive, massive, massive day for the Tigers, even though it's 11:35 at night. We're going to be talking about this in the wee hours of the morning, but they did a phenomenal job in this. Again, it doesn't take a rocket scientist, as I think Neil McCready points out pretty well. It does not take a rocket scientist to figure out what's happening here. Unless he just pulls an ultimate troll job, which we will all have, I guess, massive egg on our face here. But this thing feels over. This thing feels over to me. So we continue to monitor. In reference to Lane Kiffin, we'll get you some of your thoughts, super chats, and all that. And thoughts to Lane Kiffin. I'll just say this. Number one, I know that the Ben Garrett of Ole Miss Spirit called him, I guess technically still called him a hoe. Can't make a hoe into a housewife, the ludicrous lyric. For Lane Kiffin, y'all can call me a hoe for his entire tenure. I mean, like, brother, I get where you're coming from, but this is big boy football, and you're not a part of it. Ole Miss is not going to ever be in a position, unless they do some of the things that are unthinkable, to be in a position where LSU is. Guys, the talent in Louisiana, the resources at LSU, all of those things outmatch so many other places. Lane looks at a job like this and says to himself, number one, I want to be a part of the blue blood programs. LSU is a blue blood program. And, guys, it's a top 3 job in the country, and I don't think it's number 3. Like, I can make an argument for being 2. I could definitely make an argument for being 1 when it's run correctly. What LSU has done here is they have gone and gotten the best play caller, offensive play caller in the country, in my opinion, in Lane Kiffin. I do not think that there's a better play caller offensively. I don't think that there's been a better coach managing games this year with the talent that he has better than Lane. The best coaching job to me in the SEC this year, when you talk about talent v. talent, has been Lane Kiffin and his staff at Ole Miss. I don't think they have all the first-round talent that Oklahoma has. I don't think they have all the first-round talent that Georgia has. And quite honestly, they don't have the resources that they've given him. And, guys, he scored 35 straight points against Georgia on the road with a Division II quarterback. He basically reinvented his offensive line and run game, and they dominated Oklahoma on the road. They beat you. I mean, like, he is by far head and shoulders the best overall play caller in the country. Does he bring Charlie Weiss Jr. with him? I don't know. It's all kind of speculative at the current moment on who all of his staff would be. I do like if you do bring Charlie Weiss with you, because look, Lane has given him over play calling. He trusts him. And, guys, they're one of the best units in the country. one thing that you don't have to worry about moving forward if you're LSU is offensive play calling. I mean, because Lane is one of the best at doing it. Now, another thing that needs to be noted here, guys, it's going to be a slight little rebuild here. A slight little rebuild is on its way in Baton Rouge. You're going to have to do a lot of really big things in the portal. You're going to have to do a lot of really big things from a high school recruiting ranks, like Easton Royale committed to Texas. He's a 5-star wide receiver in the 2027 class. You got to flip that kid from Texas, which is not going to be easy at all. You got to rebuild your offensive line, which Lane Kiffin did at Ole Miss, which I think he could do here with the pieces that are built in. But I think Saban said it best. Look, Lane looks at this as a more sustainable situation from high school recruiting to being able to go and filter guys in from the portal here and there when he needs to and build from within. And that's what he's going to do. It's 1,000% what he's going to do here. You have knocked this one out of the park. You have won. If this, let me be cautious. If this goes down and is done and over, which it seems like right now that it is, guys, the skies are the limit. Lane can win a national title here. I think y'all all know it. I think we all know it. I think this is by far one of the biggest days in LSU football's history. And it's going to take a little bit. It's going to take a slight build. You don't have to worry about quarterback, I don't think. Just Trinidad Chambliss get an extra year of eligibility will be a question here. Defensively, I mean, you got some things you got to rebuild there too. I think you do got to keep Corey Raymond to keep that secondary. I would love for him to keep Corey because you got a massively great unit there that doesn't need to be shaken up, and you go from there. But this thing is imminent. It seems and points all the signs down to Lane Kiffin finding his way in Baton Rouge. I do hate it for him in some ways, meaning I hate that this is all how it played out. I do wish for Lane Kiffin that he could have been able to coach his team. LSU could have got him as a head coach, and it could have gone from there. I don't think they can win a national title without him. I didn't think they could win a national title with him. But I hate it for him that he's unable to do that. Another thing, Lane Kiffin's a troll, quote unquote. He is going to be very, very fun to follow. Very fun to follow. This puts you on the front page map of the entire college football world. It simply does. It simply does. You're getting everything that comes with Lane. The social media trolling, the dog, Juice Kiffin. You got Bo Curiel, the dog at Raising Cane's, and now you got Juice Kiffin. You got Knox. Where does Knox? Some local high school is going to be just in over their skis on this one because they got a really damn good quarterback. But everything fell into line to LSU here. Oxford lost. I mean, seems like Ole Miss is forcing his hand. Good. Finally, you made a decision. And all signs are pointing to LSU. I don't know who his DC is going to be. I don't know defensive staff. I really don't, can't really confirm right now who will be on the staff. But, man, it's a massive day for the Tigers. This was the number one guy that I had on my board. The number one guy that I had on my board for LSU to go after was Lane Kiffin. I think he could kill it here. He stayed at Ole Miss for 6 years. And outside of the NFL, and I'm just going to throw this out there, maybe Bama. I don't think he leaves or anywhere else in college football because I think that you're going to give him over the keys and you're going to get out of his way other than giving him money. He's going to assemble a really damn good staff too. And Lane is competitive as fuck. He always has been. He always will be. One thing you never have to worry about with him is if he's competitive or not. Now, he's a different kind of dude in reference to he does it his own way and get out of his way. Literally get out of his way. Because he was able to put together a better offensive line in the SEC better than you were. A better running game than you were. The biggest lie about Lane Kiffin and them offensively is that they're not a really physical unit. They're a very physical unit. They're a very physical unit. Guys, that team you just played, he dog walked a couple of weeks ago. He dog walked them. Now, I was told before we went live, which can change, before we get the thoughts, questions, and all this, and we start breaking it down. I will report this if it hasn't been reported. So let's just say 20 minutes ago or so, before we came on, I was told that Lane Kiffin has not signed anything yet. So just so we're all clear, I have been told that he has not signed anything. But this, I mean, guys, I'm putting things together, right? You're calling a team meeting. You got multiple reports by Ross Dellinger and Pete Thamel. I mean, unless this thing turns completely sideways, which it's not, I don't think it's going to, Lane Kiffin's going to be the next head coach of LSU football. And if it does turn sideways, we'll be here for it. But look, I don't think that that's happening. Nothing has been signed to my knowledge. Now, I've been on the air now for 30 minutes. I don't know if anything's been signed yet or not. But it looks like it has not been. All right. At least to my knowledge. Nothing's been signed yet. And we'll go from there. Wilson Alexander of The Advocate says, as we head into tomorrow, sources believe LSU is closing in on hiring Lane Kiffin. Planes to Oxford are being arranged to get him, and the hire could be finalized as soon as Sunday morning. There you go. There you go. Hold that tiger. I kind of just want to like put up the damn Simba symbol. You know what I mean? Cause we made it. Shit, it's been a long-ass month. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's been a long-ass month, boy. Whoo. Maybe my phone will calm down now. Oh, put in some rally pillows. Ladies and gentlemen, what do they say? Ladies and gentlemen, we've got him. Retro Jordan says, hold these nuts. Well, if you're an Ole Miss fan, now you're going back to sucking and being irrelevant like you always are. Come into the chat and realize who daddy is, because these little 3 letters on our chest, LSU, shows you who daddy is. You're a nothing. Lane Kiffin made you who you were. So don't come up in here trolling when he left you for the finer bitch. He left you for the finer woman. So you suck. We don't. Nana boo-boo. So he knows it. You know what? I know it's 12 a.m. in the morning, damn near. But here's the truth, too. Lane Kiffin knows that he can win titles at LSU. He knows that he can come to LSU and win a national title. So you get to all of this. The 3 big reasons why Lane Kiffin is leaving Ole Miss for LSU. He knows he can win a national title here. He saw one of his best friends in the world do it. That's number 1. Number 2, the sustainability factor of how LSU is structured, from the in-state Louisiana talent that he can recruit and cherry pick from, and the resources. Because we've been talking about that for weeks, that the biggest thing that I have heard was a massive factor for Lane Kiffin was how you're going to build this roster and help him build the roster to go get a national title. It is that simple. I don't think that he hates Ole Miss. Quite honestly, I think he loves Ole Miss. He loves the life that he built there, the hot yoga, everything that goes on with everything that he does in Oxford, Mississippi. It's not personal. It's business. him leaving Ole Miss is the world, or him telling you, but the just real realization that everyone knows that LSU is just a bigger and better place. And Lane Kiffin, with Lane Kiffin's best team, he still couldn't come into Death Valley and win. And he wants the bright lights. Guys, the first game in Death Valley for Lane Kiffin in Tiger Stadium is going to be up against Clemson, probably at night. Do what? He wants that. You get day games when we get night games. He wants all of this. He wants the pageantry of being a head coach for one of the biggest blue bloods in the sport. So, Ole Miss fans, you want to know why you lost out? You said it's not the money. Well, good. Then that means that we are a bigger and better program than you. It's bottom line simple. It's bottom line simple. Land Shark says Kiffin playing with minds. No, he's not. But I see some people in here trolling. Y'all are blue bloods. We're tied for third since 2000 when it comes to national titles. If you don't think LSU is, then who is? I mean, how many years does it have to take you to be relevant? Oh, well, we have more national titles than you. There's only one other team that can say that they have more national titles than LSU. None of y'all in here are them. Last but not least, and we'll start getting to super chats here. Boy, I'd love to be a fly on the wall for those conversations with Saban. I'd love to have been a fly on the wall for those conversations. So, yeah. All right. Let's get to some comments here. Shane with a $50 super chat says, go Tigers. Absolutely, Shane. Absolutely. Massive day for the Tigers. Absolutely massive day. I mean, listen, man, it's a big day, and you should be excited for it. You should go to sleep feeling very good about where we sit right now. All signs are pointing towards you. All signs are pointing towards you. You're not a blue blood. Anthony, what's your favorite team? Because you're not it. Anyway, Justin Simpson became a member on the YouTube channel. Thank you, Justin. I greatly appreciate that. Walking, talking, Stephen Hawking with a $5 super chat says, have they let Marty Smith go home yet? That man was looking hungry in his last report. Yeah, look, man, tip of the cap to Marty Smith, dude. Tip of the cap. He, I mean, it cannot be easy his day. It just simply cannot be easy. He's been on, all over this. I mean, he's been texting with Lane Kiffin. So yeah. General Griever says, prepare the edits. Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready for this thing to go down tomorrow morning, and we'll be here for it. We 1,000% will be here for it. Tariq with 2 super chats of $2 sends a lot of train emojis. It's a big day, man. Y'all should be excited. I know I am. There's a lot that comes with Lane Kiffin coming here. A lot. General Grievous says, here come the Tigers. Yeah, listen, man. Again, I know I've said this a lot. If it's the first time you're watching the show, just ask anybody that's been here. Last week, week before, tonight, we'll say it again tonight. I am proud of LSU. I am proud of how they aligned quickly and how it seems that they have gotten this done. I get to a place where, for me, I look at a team, I look at an organization, I look at the structure that was built in, guys, a month. In a month, you were able to fire a head coach and an athletics director. You were able to hire a president that you did not have, hire an AD that was already inside your building, get the governor involved with new board of supervisors members, with a chair that has been there before, align and go get the best available candidate in the country, that being Lane Kiffin. You snub teams like Florida, who, by the way, I mean, no team in all of this has more egg on their face more than the Florida Gators. No one. They could have fired Billy Napier after Texas A&M last year. They refused to do it. Nobody would have gone after Kiffin besides them. But their AD is 1,000% incompetent at doing his job. They were interviewing general managers when Lane asked him not to because he wanted to have control of his own program, and they wouldn't stop doing it, and you lost him. He ghosted you, bro. He left you on red. You know, it's been about a week. We came out here last week and said, guys, I'm hearing Florida's out of this thing. And lo and behold, they were. Florida was last week. Florida was, I forget whoever sent the super chat in. I think it was Oblivious. It was like, hey, will you go on this Florida podcast, Florida Guys podcast? Sure, I'll go. And he's like, oh, how are you sure? We're the bigger brand. No, you're not. You're not. For Florida to start healing, for Florida to move forward, they got to recognize who they are. And like, even in LSU's worst year, you're 7-5, not good, can't happen here, but you're 7-5, firing a head coach and Brian Kelly, because Brian Kelly won 10 games twice, got to the SEC championship game, and won 9 games a season ago. I mean, like, you're not even remotely close to being there. Not remotely close. So, yeah. 337 Brandon says, goodbye, Cheez-It Bowl. Welcome, college football playoffs. Lane can get you there, man. Y'all have seen it. Are there any players that leave Ole Miss and come here with him? I surely hope so. Could you imagine Keywan Lacey, Harlan Berry, and Caden Durham in the backfield next year? Can you imagine that? The one thing that I want LSU to get back to, by the way, is I want you to get downhill and knock motherfuckers out, by the way. It's something that you've lacked since 2022. You have not been able to just line up and punch somebody in the mouth and knock them out. Guys, there's an old saying that one of my coaches told me one time. Are you going to shove dudes in lockers today? Are you basically what he was asking? Are you going to go out into the field and be a bully? You have not, from an offensive line standpoint, the last 3 years been a bully. In 2022, you were. In 2022, when you lined up against Bama and they came into Death Valley, and quite frankly, you beat the dog shit out of them up front in moments and times. Anthony Bradford, Will Anderson still, to this day, has nightmares of Anthony Bradford. He probably wears Anthony Bradford for pajamas, if we're just being honest. But when they moved Anderson inside and you got a big-ass mauling guard, you like, what can you do if you're Lane Kiffin with Carius Kern? I mean, like, the core nucleus can be there. It can be there. That's a big deal. So you got to get downhill. Now, to add on to that downhill and being physical, if I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times this month. The second biggest hire in all of this is not who Lane Kiffin's coordinators are going to be. It's not staff members, none of it. The biggest thing for Lane Kiffin at this exact moment, who is going to be his strength and conditioning coach? That is the biggest question. Jake Flint's got to go. Do you call Tommy Moffitt back? Do you call him back? I mean, I would. Do you say, hey, man, you got some grandbabies now. It's time to come home. That's what I would ask. But you are not. Jake Flint got to go. He's got to go. The second biggest hire, in my opinion, is whoever is going to be his strength and conditioning coordinator. So, yeah. Yeah. Chico's with a $5 super chat says, you got me so hyped, Blake. This will bring our swagger back. Listen, Chico's, I've been tweeting this for a month. Go get your swagger back. I feel like LSU has just gotten their swagger back. Yeah, again, this isn't science, so I shouldn't be speaking in absolutes. Right? Like I shouldn't be speaking in absolutes. I shouldn't be doing that. But if this goes final, or when this goes final and done, yeah, I need to stop speaking in absolutes. When this is over and done with, yeah, you went and got your swagger back. And listen, Lane knows how to. Lane understands this place. He's been in too many places. He gets it. He 1,000% gets it. You can't be more high profile than him. He gets it. He understands this place. He's going to understand this place. And listen, I'm sure Ed and others he will surround himself with to tell him about it. Now, I'm sure some of the media are going to freak out because their practice availabilities are gone. They're gone. Who gives a shit? I would rather never go to another practice and us win national titles than anything. Screw them practice reports. Bro 337. But yes, to your point, you go and get your swagger back. It's the biggest deal. LSU is a place that has attitude. You know, I think of Urban Meyer and all the things that Urban has said over the years. Like, hey man, when I was in Florida and they got off the bus, when LSU got off the bus, you were like, fuck, man, we're in for a dogfight today. And you bring that swagger back. You do. That's what Lane does for you instantly. He gets off that plane tomorrow. Women in the bayou are going to be crying. They're probably their panties are going to have moisture on them. Bro 337. Their panties are going to have moisture on them. I mean, let's just be honest. My panties will have moisture on it. Pause. Bro 337 with a $5 super chat says, Blake, can Chambliss actually transfer? Nothing stopping him, right? Saw something on X saying he would have to wait. I don't know if he'd have to wait. He's going to have to get a waiver. He's going to have to get a waiver. Maybe he joins that Diego Pavia lawsuit. But the matter of fact is that he's going to have to get a waiver. So, listen, whether it's Trinidad Chambliss or whoever it is, I don't care who it is. I'm not worried about quarterback with Lane Kiffin. It's the least of my worries. Now, it's going to be the biggest thing Lane's got to build because you got Michael Van Buren, but you got to go get depth. And you got to go get depth quickly. So, yeah. Zachary Payne with a $5 super chat. I don't know if he wants me to call him out by his real name, but some of y'all, if y'all knew who this man was, man, this man could start his own YouTube channel and probably make millions. But Zachary Payne with a $5 super chat says LSU just intercepted Florida for a sixth time. They did. They shoved him in a locker. They shoved him in a fucking locker. I mean, they were so confident that it gave me hesitancy. It's given me hesitancy. Or gave me hesitancy. But they got played. God, they got played. You know, I was listening to some of their media, like one of their media members called me out on Friday morning and said some stupid shit about we these LSU guys don't know anything. Well, we know more than you. All right, Brett McMurphy. I just got texted this. Brett McMurphy on Twitter says Lane Kiffin is, quote unquote, essentially demanding to finish the season with Ole Miss while simultaneously threatened to poach Ole Miss's roster and staff if he can't, sources tell On3. It's unfortunately gotten even messier than expected as emotions are high. Holy shit. I mean, he's forcing them to fire him. They're going to have to fire him. They're not going to be able to move him. I mean, listen, it is God, dog. I don't care. Look, Lane Kiffin might not come here. Let me rephrase that. Even if Lane Kiffin doesn't come here, this dude's a savage. This dude is an outright savage. I'm going to take my staff and I'm going to take my players with me. And you want to know why Keith Carter ain't got the balls? Because Lane Kiffin walked in there with bigger balls. I will take my staff and I'll take my players with me. There are players loyal to me. They're not going to stay here with you. They're not going to play in the playoff. Does this hurt or affect LSU's deal at all? I don't know. But this shit seems imminent. They're going to have to fire him. He's forcing them to fire him. I hope he brings Kawan Lacey. That's all I know. Damn, that's savage. Damn, that is savage. Idaho Tiger fan says, great coverage, Blake, with a $10 super chat. Missed the game. Just wanted to show some support. I appreciate that, Tiger. I do. Doug Knows with a $5 super chat says, he made a comment in his last postgame presser that not one Mississippi-born player is a starter on offense. That was telling to me, and I think 17 Louisiana kids. Yeah, that's very telling. Yeah, this shit got messy. Pete Thamel of ESPN's now reporting. Here's our ESPN story. LSU expecting to come to terms with Lane Kiffin, the 7-year deal. We talked about that 7-year deal. It's what I heard. I heard it was going to be 7 years, a little bit north of $96 million. 7-year deal, but it would, quote unquote, be a shock to sources if he didn't sometime early Sunday. Let me reread that again. LSU is expecting to come to terms with Lane Kiffin. The 7-year deal isn't signed. Okay, that's what I heard too. We talked about that about 30 minutes ago. The deal isn't signed, but would be, quote unquote, be a shock to sources if he didn't sometime early Sunday. There's an Ole Miss team meeting at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Yeah, I mean, he wants to coach. I look, I don't blame him. I don't blame him. General Grievous says, need a new name for the Ole Miss game now. Yeah, the Lane Kiffin Bowl. Boy, and we got to go into Oxford next year. That shit's going to be toxic as fuck. God, that's going to be toxic as fuck. Jordan Acosta with a $5 super chat says, Blake, so now can you tell us all the juicy details and things that you said we needed to wait on? I'm not going to give you the details. This is what I'm going to do. The person, I want to tell a story with a person that it was involving us with. Here's what I'll tell you. Remember last Wednesday, not this past Wednesday. Remember last Wednesday, I'll partly tell the story. So I got tipped off in reference to some of the things that Florida was doing. Florida, how do I want to say this? I knew Florida was out of this last Wednesday. I got tipped off by a national guy that I love dearly. When I got tipped off, I did some things, and we had found out that Florida was going after John Summerall, and we had confirmed it. That story will be told in due time. But that person's going to be on this podcast, I'm sure, within the near future. And we'll talk about that story. But yes, I'm going to leave that alone. But basically, this whole John Summerall, like, I'll give an example. I told Florida people last Wednesday, y'all are going after John Summerall. They told me, like, meaning some of their media people, I was an idiot. If you would have seen what these eyeballs saw, well, I'm just going to leave that alone. I'm going to leave that alone. But I can't tell the full, I can't tell the full story. At least I'm not going to yet. But last Wednesday, I got tipped off from something. I was able to verify it by some things that I did, being a Louisiana guy, and it was over. But last Wednesday, I knew John Summerall in Florida was a real deal. Here's what I'll tell you about John Summerall. This is what I've been told. John was pissed about that it leaking out that Florida and him were talking. Like, overly pissed. And that meeting got canceled that Tuesday. It did not stop. Yes, Mr. Payne. It did not stop. I'm gonna leave that one alone. Let me just say this. It wasn't the only person, or John Summerall wasn't talked to by only one team on last Wednesday. But we were able to make it happen. So we've kind of known this for a while about Florida. But they kept saying that I was a liar. You don't do what we do, and that shit's just not true, bro. They can say whatever we want. That's why I went on that Florida podcast, to be honest with you. Yeah. Royce Pierce, our good buddy Royce, sends a $20 super chat with a lot of tiger emojis. Royce is a big-time listener of AYS and Ruffino and Joe Show. Thank you, buddy. I greatly appreciate it. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. All right, let's get to some more of these. Still waiting on pen to paper, but I'll say this. Welcome to the effing show. Yeah, I mean, listen, it is not signed. I guess anything could happen, but this thing looks like it's toxic as fuck. I mean, he's threatening to take players and staff with him. I mean, that's how toxic it's got. The one thing I'd say is it, does this happen to LSU when at some point in time with Lane? That's the question I'd ask. General Grievous says, walk in your trap, take over your trap. We did. So LSU lost to Ole Miss this year for us to be able to go and take their head coach. If I would have told you after we lost to Ole Miss 24-19 that we get Lane Kiffin, I think you would have taken that trade. Frank Castle with a $2 super chat says, angry money ain't nothing to F with. That's the truth. So what Frank is referring to, guys, a couple of Thursdays ago, I came out here and reported, I don't know if that's what you call it, guys, there were a lot of boosters that were pissed off about some of the situations that were happening. I do think, unfortunately, in the beginning of all this, Governor Landry made a lot of mistakes that woke up some people that I don't think that people knew that LSU had, to be quite blunt with you, to go and get this thing done. So, yeah. Scared money don't make money, Billy Napier says. The original with a $2 super chat says 3 natties at least with Lane. Let's just get one first. How about this? Let's just make the playoffs first. Let's just make the playoffs first. That's all I want. Stephen Young with a $5 super chat. Zach's crazy ass. Stephen Young with a $5 super chat says Ole Miss is shooting themselves in the foot here. Yeah, they are. Look, I know it's $30 million. $50 million. Who you think you kidnapped Chelsea Clinton? $30 million is $30 million. Now, I had a question earlier about does his contract offset? It doesn't look like it does. So if he takes another job, it doesn't offset. I don't know if they feel like they can have legal grounds. I mean, I'm sure they do. I mean, Ole Miss probably is going to let him coach. This thing's gotten toxic, man. He wants to coach, and I don't blame him. Mitch Como with a $5 super chat says, make LSU great again. Train full steam ahead. That's the truth. That's the truth. Jacob Fitzgerald says, this is LSU and King Leonidas' voice. This is Sparta. Yeah, I mean, it is. It is. So I just can't. I am appalled that Ole Miss thinks that they're LSU. Cajun Curveball says LSU is a blue blood. Suck it. Beat Ohio State, Oklahoma, and peak Clemson for national titles. Was in the dome for even the 2011 Bama game. Give me Kiffin or give me death. Yeah, that's the whole thing. You play for 4 of them. I mean, it's since the year 2. So 25 years of college football has almost come and gone here. And it's Alabama, Ohio State, and LSU at 2 for national titles in that time frame. You can't deny that. What makes you a blue blood then? That would be that, you got to go all the way back to the 80s. Guys, Notre Dame hasn't won a natty since the 1980s. Like, there are a lot of people of you in here that were either born in 89. Some of you weren't even born in the 80s. Some of you were still in your mama's titty. Like, I mean, there's 25 years of being what LSU has done result in you not being a blue blood. You're crazy if you think otherwise. Justin became a member on the YouTube channel. Boy, I'm sure we're going to have a lot of members-only content now that this is all going down. Put neck on repeat says, bro, 337. Absolutely. The most savage thing that Lane Kiffin could do is the first game versus Clemson is pay the fine for the band playing neck. We want Kiffin with a $2 super chat says, the Portal Kings unite in Tiger Kingdom. Yeah, you got Lane Kiffin and Jay Johnson. So can you go on a run if you're Lane Kiffin that Jay Johnson has gone on the last 4 years? I think Jay also has shown what you can do here in a lot of ways in the new modern era. Frankie with a $5 super chat says, Florida thought they had him, but we joined the race and Kiffin got to choosing. I don't think they were ever a factor. You know, when last Wednesday came and went, and they pivoted, it felt over because it was over. Bro, I listened to a lot of their stuff yesterday. For what it's worth, they were like, "Oh, we were still in it. We were still talking to him on Monday." No, you weren't. He ghosted you, bro. He ghosted you. Like their denial in all of this is bombastic at best. It is idiotic. I mean, shit. So, in the early part of this, a lot of people were saying, Florida leads from LSU's own media. Captain Dan with a $5 super chat says, hey, Cowboy, thank you for hanging us this late on bourbon number 10 or 20 from home in Las Vegas, ready to pay double for season tickets next year. That, I know that's kind of a joke, but it's kind of not. That's another thing. How many big boosters, how many local fans are going to want to spend money now for Lane Kiffin that probably didn't want to spend it for Brian Kelly? That's the real question. I think that, and look, Lane's is a different cat now. So you give him the roster, he's going to perform. You got to go get him the roster. White Llama with a $5 super chat says Nick Saban wrote the final love letter to LSU and got us our coach. Yeah, I mean all morning was basically Nick. Saying what the truth was. Guys, Lane Kiffin went to a podium on Friday after the game and said that he's going to talk to Nick Saban and he's going to talk to Pete Carroll and that he massively misses his dad. Listen, I'll just sidebar. Guys, when I took AYS full time, outside of my wife, there were no other conversations that I really had more with my brother than anything. But I lean on my dad. I lean on my brother, who's 8 years older than I am, because he's been an entrepreneur or actually 9 years older than I am. He's been an entrepreneur, a highly successful business person, and runs multiple very successful businesses. And when you have a family member that you love and it's been through your shoes and just going to tell you like it is and isn't going to not try to hurt your he's just going to tell you. I feel Lane Kiffin when he says I miss my dad, and I'm going to lean on Nick Saban. And I think the relationship between Nick and Lane has drastically changed because Lane's changed. Guys, the biggest lie is that this dude hasn't changed. Lane's going to pull every level to coach. Every lever to coach, and he should. But I mean, when it came down to Lane Kiffin and Nick Saban having that conversation, because we all know that it happened, what do you think Lane told him? I mean, what do you think Nick told Lane? Y'all know what he told him. Y'all know exactly what he told him. But this sends shockwaves around the country, man. It does. Royce Pierce with a $20 super chat says, what if he ends up coaching in the NFL? Wouldn't that be crazy? Oh, man, I hope he doesn't. I mean, that would probably be the next step for him. Now, I don't know if he does it, we don't know what the future holds, but I mean, the NFL season's not even over with, and you could get in and out of a national title. It wouldn't be like this. And I don't know how many other college teams he leaves you for. But it would be crazy if he took the job and then an NFL team went after him. So, yeah. Chico says, from a proud U.S. Marine, your show made my night. Well, I'm glad to hear that. And, Matt, I just want to massively thank you for your service. That's the big deal. You're the real hero in all this, Chicos. Seriously, I mean that. You're the real hero in all this. Yeah, you really are. But I'm glad it made your night. I mean, I'm exhausted. I mean, I've been up since 5 o'clock because I thought that this shit could go down this morning. But here we stand. Probably should have just popped an Adderall that I don't have. Then I wouldn't sleep. Frank Castle with a $10 super chat says, Blake has excellent sources. BK not going to specific boosters is true. That is true. Those boosters are waiting on their unicorns to give Lane whatever the fuck he wants. That is true. Let me give an example. There were guys that Brian Kelly should not have turned away from that he did. And I heard we talked about this 2 Thursdays ago. When I came out and said, hey, man, there are boosters with massive amounts of money that really weren't giving money because Brian didn't really engage with them. I mean, it's not an opinion. Secondly, I think that they understand and have been told up front, like, hey, man, that's not who Lane is. But if you give him the money and help him build the roster with that, he's going to dominate. And that's the difference in all of this. That's the difference in all of this. The real question is where in the hell are we going to because I'm going to start hot yoga. I'm starting hot yoga on Monday. Shit. See my fat ass stretching my big ass buns. I don't give a shit. I'm going to hot yoga. You can't tell me otherwise. I'm going to be a hot yoga king. I'm going to start wearing visors again. We're a visor school. You know, I had a guy in the SEC tell me something. Yeah, pause. I get it. Had a guy in the SEC, a coach in the SEC, tell me something this week. He's like, it feels like it feels like LSU's getting their Steve Spurrier. And I was like, well, I don't like you saying that because, you know, Steve's a Florida guy, but I get what he was saying. Stephen Young says this is massive getting Kiffin. No more anemic offenses. No doubt. I mean, one thing that you know is that you're gonna have a really good play caller. I really hope that Charlie Weiss Jr. comes with him. Personally. Charlie's a really good OC. He's a really good OC. Nick James on who? Nick James with a member for 1 month. Comment. Thank you, Nick. He says, did you see the latest tweet from Brett McMurphy? Is there a new one or did we already talk about it? Is there one saying he's going to pull staff and pull players? I'm trying to look for it. No, it's just the same one. All right. Frank Castle with a $5 super chat says, I'll never say I'll told y'all so. I'll say I told y'all so. Yeah, Frank's been talking about Kiffin for a long time. He is. He sends a $20 super chat too and says, Florida had arrogance, not confidence. That's very true. Florida is a poorly run organization. That's true. LSU gets Kiffin. Landry didn't matter. BK has to find a job. And now LSU will owe him less money, essentially reduced a buyout. It's true. Let's see if Brian Kelly actually can get a job, though. Which, by the way, never mind. I'm going to leave that one. But, yeah, they had arrogance. I mean, last Wednesday when they started really going after other coaches at a high aggressive level. So did Ole Miss. So is Ole Miss. Frank says to the lurking Florida fans, I told y'all for weeks what your role was in all of this. Third place, used to raise the price for Ole Miss and LSU. Y'all were getting the Jimmy Sexton lubed up special. You know, that's funny about that. What's funny about that is, number one, that's true. You know, a lot of people thought it was us, but no. And why are Florida fans deactivating Facebook? Or not Facebook, Twitter. I refuse to call it X. Why are y'all deactivating shit? But yeah, Jimmy lubed y'all up real nice. Turn that son of a gun sideways and stick it straight up your candy asses. Alex with a $2 super chat says, Blake, you made some real money tonight. Yeah. It's the Lane Kiffin effect. But to the guys who sent the big super chats earlier in the shows, I greatly appreciate it. I already talked to them. We're going to be sending them some stuff. You know, like some of this, you know, LSU official stuff, we're going to send it to them. Probably should send one to Frank too. Let me do this. Stand by for just a second. Stand by. Let me refresh. I needed to refresh our screen just so it's not as blurry. Let's get to some more of these super chats. Grievous with a $5 super chat says, Ole Miss fumbled the bag again. Florida is now the SEC Nebraska. LSU has the offensive version of Kirby. He's already sabotaging a rival. We up, baby. Yeah, I mean, he is sabotaging a rival. I mean, because Ole Miss views you as probably a bigger rival than Mississippi State. I mean, ask him. Ask him. Frank Castle with a $20 super chat says Florida fans must accept that they still suck. LSU fans must accept that we're riding and we're back. Ole Miss fans must accept that they're a stepping stone. Fans of other teams must accept that LSU giant is arisen. I agree with all that. Ole Miss was a stepping stone in all of this. I mean, essentially, if this goes through, which I guess anything can happen with a deal that's not signed. Anything could technically happen, but I don't think that it is. Tiger894 with a $10 super chat says, Go Tigers, is this for real? Is this as real as it gets? This is as real as it gets, brother. I mean, look, here's the truth. Could something absolutely insane happen tomorrow? A lot of insane shit's already happened in this coaching search. Yes, some insane shit could happen tomorrow. Some absolutely insane, unforeseen, absolute ludicrous could happen tomorrow. You know it, and I know it. Nothing's signed yet. But guys, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how. I mean, you got multiple reports are out there. You got Brett McMurphy talking about him sabotaging with coaches and players. I don't know what else you need. I mean, as far as this like not being done, sure, it's not done yet. But I don't know what else you need. I mean, this is done as a Waffle House steak at 2 a.m. I mean, this shit's done. I mean, or getting there. Just need him to sign. Frankie with a $5 super chat says this whole thing could happen to us in the future. It could. But I think it's a risk you're worth taking. Lane is that good. I agree. He definitely could do it to you. And he probably will at some point. Gavin with a $1 super chat. Thank you, bud. He also says a $2 super chat says, if you had a guess, live odds on Kiffin LSU. Oh, shit. Minus 12,000. Nah, let me not go that much. Minus 1,200. Massive odds. I'd put it at 99.5%. Just to give me a 5%, a 0.5% wiggle room. I mean, you're not holding a team meeting, man. You're not doing that. All these players are seeing this shit. They know what's going on. They know. Hell Mendoza with a $5 super chat says, starting to feel like Rose on the Titanic, waiting on the Kiffin news. I don't care who's the coach, just for the love of Christ, fix the dang offense. Well, you fixed it overnight. Again, I still think you got to give Kiffin time, man. Like I mean, guys, we don't even know who your team's going to be next year. So with that being said, I mean, you got to do a little rebuild here. But you're kind of, I just saw a text, you're kind of rebranding yourself. I think it's a good way of putting it in a lot of ways. Steven says if LSU gets Kiffin along with AY and Kim, we're going on a generational run. Brother, you about to go on one. Trey with a $5 super chat says, I wanted Joe Brady to come back to college football and lead us again, but getting Lane Kiffin is just as great. 3 natties minimum. We deserve to be great again. Let's just get to the playoff. First. General Grievous with a $5 super chat says, everyone make peace with the fact that he tweets for his dog. We will support Juice Kiffin as if he was Mike. Oh, I'm going to support. I love dogs. I love dogs. So I'm with you. SOU Lions 707 with a $2 super chat says, Lane train, choo choo. I hope LSU gets a big ass like siren. So when we score touchdowns, they just blare that bitch. Train coming through. You better get off. Move like ludicrous. Move, biatch. But yeah. Jason with a $20 super chat says, per ESPN, LSU is expected to hire Lane Kiffin. Expected to? Yes. Done? No. Expected to? Yes. Done? No. I mean, guys, this is all played out in front of our face, to be blunt with you. Bro, that's 20,000 of y'all in here right now. What the fuck? There's 20,000 of y'all in here right now. That's insane. Justin JC with a $5 super chat says J&J Exterminate needs to sponsor you again. They should, but I appreciate their time with us, but we moved in a different direction. But thank you for the super chat. If they want to, they can, but yeah. Heather Bro sends Heather's husband here, Josh, his buyout and his contract. How does that work next season? Can he get paid both? Yeah, he might have to, because they don't have, from what I understand, they don't have a mitigating clause that says that there's a difference. So meaning like LSU's salary to Kiffin doesn't mitigate that. Like you don't have to offset it. The way that I understand it, I'm not an attorney, just based off of what I read. So he could get paid, what, $35 million and then come be LSU's next head coach. Lane's petty enough to use that $35 million to go build a roster himself and go win an Natty. That's how petty he is. Fred on YouTube with a $10 super chat says, if you could read this really loud, I would appreciate it. Dana, give your husband some tonight to celebrate this awesome news. TIA. I wish I was cuddled up in bed next to my wife. But that's the truth. Yeah, ladies, give all your husbands some time. Hell Mendoza with a $2 super chat says, send Brian Kelly to UMass. I hear they're hiring. Shit, send him to UConn. East Lansing for all I care. Send him somewhere. Neil with a $5 super chat says, Kiffin will use LSU as a stepping stone just like Ole Miss. Enjoy this liar while you last. Well, the only stepping stone would be to the NFL or to Bama. I mean, LSU fans don't want to hear that, but that's true. I don't think Lane uses LSU. Like, you use LSU to get to one of the premier jobs in the country. I know that Ole Miss fans, they're hurting right now. You should be hurting because your run's over. Neil with a $5 super chat says Kiffin will use. Oh, we got to that one. Omar the Tiger says Brandon Walker, Reese Davis, and Pat McAfee got to be crying big tears. I don't think McAfee really gives a shit. Brandon Walker is going to have a lot of egg on his face when this is all over and done with. And I have every tweet bookmarked. I'm going after him. Stephen Young says, with a $5 super chat, says, I love Florida and Ole Miss being second tier. I mean, really and truthfully, Lane was picking between Ole Miss and Florida. What does that make Florida? Right? Like, what does that make Florida? Soggy Tigers with a $2 super chat says, I'm still waiting for those hats to drop, Blake. Yeah, I know. We need to do them. I'm just not big in the merch game. If somebody wants to join our team and run our merch game, y'all go right on ahead. I'll sign you to it right now. We'll split 50-50. But you got to know what you're doing, and you got to be on it. If you're not going to be on it, I'm firing your ass. Lucas Blanchard with a $2 super chat says, why mention Waffle House? Now I'm placing an order. Well, nothing wrong with Waffle House at 12:38 in the morning. I mean, shit, I've done much worse. I mean, shit, there was a reason I was 150 pounds heavier than I am right now. Now, trust me, I've done a lot worse. Nothing wrong with it. But y'all do need to look into carnivore. That's all I'm going to tell you. Jeff in Japan, who's got a mural of Jesus as his avatar, sends 800 yen. Okay, well, Jeff really is in Japan. How much is 800 yen in U.S. dollars? Not that it matters. All right, $5 super chat. Thank you. I don't know how that converts, but thank you. I don't know where I'm going to spend it, but thank you. He says, as long as Saban is in Kiffin's ear, he'll go He'll never go to the NFL or Alabama. Probably not, unless Alabama gets in really bad trouble and he wins a couple natties or two. I don't think Lane wants to go back to the NFL. Personally, I don't. I don't know if Lane stays here for 30 years, though. But think about this. He's coached for Bama, Ole Miss, Tennessee. Am I missing anybody in the SEC that he's coached for? I don't know. I don't know. Spazzle. I don't know. Spaz. That's what we're going to call you. $5 super chat says, would this have gone longer if Auburn had beaten Bama? Probably. Thank God for Bama. $5 super chat from Frankie says, I was really stressing it. To be blunt with you in the post game, I was really stressing it. If you couldn't tell, I was really, really fucking stressing that if Bama didn't win, that this shit was going to get interesting. Because, he hadn't signed, and he wants to coach. I really was worried about it. And when that shit got tied at 20, I really kind of was like, fuck. Frankie with a $5 super chat is wondering if Bama intrigues him stepping into Saban's shadow when he could become LSU's version of Saban. Who knows? We'll see. Yeah, that's it's an interesting concept. It's an interesting concept. Trey says, big fan, but keep your eyes open and look at the camera, tripping me out. Sorry about that. It's kind of a tick. And I kind of need to look at the comments too. Sorry about that. Sorry it freaks y'all out. It's your highlights with a $2 super chat says, did you see latest ESPN's breaking news report? I didn't. The only thing I got from them is that they're holding a team meeting. Let's see. Coming from Neil McCready. Neil says he cannot confirm this. But there's a rumor coming out of Ole Miss that Lane told assistants if they aren't on the plane with him tomorrow, they don't have jobs with him in Baton Rouge. Oh, shit. Fuck. This thing's getting messy. Bro. Snooze, you lose, bro. God dang. Damn. Neil says he can't confirm it, though. So who knows? TG with $100 super chat. Big time super chat. Thank you, TG. Says, is Lane coming to BR? Are the G4s or 5s getting ready? Thank you, Blake, for the streams and entertainment. First off, you're welcome. Thank you for the massive super chat there. I do think he's coming to LSU, yes, clearly. I think it's all but over, to be blunt with you. I think it's going to take a lot of craziness to happen tomorrow morning for this not to happen. Could it? Yeah. But guys, y'all know where all the signs are pointing to. Are the G4s or 5s getting ready? I think everybody should be getting ready. Listen, I think that this move sends shockwaves. Clearly it's sending massive shockwaves. It sends shockwaves to Florida. You're just not LSU. It sends shockwaves to Ole Miss. Your little brother. I wonder who Ole Miss hires. Is it, can they flip John Summerall? Can they flip him? That's a real question. Where do they go? If this report comes out that Lane told assistants, y'all better be on that plane tomorrow, that shit gets wild. That also, I do, listen, I don't feel bad for Ole Miss, but I do feel bad for Ole Miss. They're going to the playoff, and they might be coachless. That's not fair to them players. I think cooler heads need to prevail here. Cooler heads need to prevail. I don't know if they will, but I hate it for those players. I hate it for them. That's horrible, man. That's horrible. You wouldn't want that happening to you. I don't know what's going to happen there, but that's wild. I mean, depending on how this shit plays out, I mean, does Ole Miss make the playoff if that happens? Do they keep them out of the playoff? I don't think that they should, but if players start opting out and coaches start leaving, they might not have a choice. They might not have a choice. Lucas says Brandon will block me with 300 followers. Yeah, I told him not to block LSU fans. He's not going to listen. He'll probably just drive his Tahoe into work. No big deal. Corey with a $20 super chat says, did you see the report that he is threatening to poach Ole Miss's roster? I did. Yep, we talked about it. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. I mean, listen, they're not letting him coach, and he wanted to. I don't know how if they're going to fire him. I don't know if he's just going to make the move. I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know how it's all going to play out, but yes, I saw it. Stephen Young with a $5 super chat says, I got back to my high school weight 168 at 48 years old with keto. That's basically what carnivore is. But good for you, man. 168, you need to put some weight on, brother. Put on about 20 pounds of weight, put 20 pounds of muscle. Go do it for yourself. Stephen Hawking with a $5 super chat says, how cinematic was it that Dellinger's plane tweet came out right as the Iron Bowl got tied? I saw that. I noticed that. That's funny. But it's true. Redline with a $5 super chat says, Ole Miss fans are on X talking about all kinds of skeletons. I've wanted him to be our coach. Never wavered 99.5%. Sure. Hope it's not true. The same amount of skeletons that came out. Why are you saying it now? I mean, the same skeletons that came out with Brian Kelly were going to come out here. It's only going to get worse. Ethan Doyle became a member on the YouTube channel. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. Hel Mendoza says, does the NCAA step in if this gets really messy? They could. I don't know what they could do, but they could try. But the NCAA's got the NCAA shouldn't step in for that. What the NCAA should step in for is changing the calendar. It's not that difficult. If kids want to early enroll, let them early enroll. Make the National Signing Day in February. Make the portal period in spring. Make it in spring. Don't let it would change all of this from people not needing their coaches right now. You could go through the whole playoff. Lane can coach his team. LSU could wait until Lane is done and then go hire him. I mean, step in, change the calendar. That's on them. So they won't do it because they're fucking incompetent. And they always have been. So I don't expect them to change shit. But that instead of stepping in this situation, they should step in for changing the calendar. In reference to the playoff, there's nothing they could change. I mean, I don't know what there's really anything they can do because the college football playoff is not run by the NCAA. What are they going to do? Tell LSU they can't go after their head coach? I mean, there's nothing that they can do. Jones became a member on the became a member on the super chat. Became a member on the YouTube channel. Thank you so much, buddy. I greatly appreciate it. All right, last one. We're out of here. I'm going to bed because we got to be up at 5:30 in the morning. General Grievous with a $2 super chat says, what the fuck did Ole Miss say to Lane? Damn. Probably that he wasn't going to be able to coach the playoffs. And he got pissed and he started threatening them with players opting out and coaches leaving. That's what he threatened him with. Trey Mitchell with a $10 super chat says, Blake, live stream until 9 a.m. and start back up at 7:30. No. Not happening. I'm about to go now as soon as I get done with these super chats. Stop sending in super chats. I'm going to bed. Doug with a $2 super chat says it's going to change the portal window. It's going to have to change the portal window. You're going to have to do it in the spring. You got to change the portal window to the spring. I know coaches don't like that. They want to know what their roster is, but they're going to have to. It's the best thing for the sport. Moving signing day, high school signing day, back to February. Give exemptions to those players who want to early enroll. If they want to early enroll, let them. Let them go through an exemption. Let them qualify and let them go. And if they want to hit the portal, it's their right to hit the portal. They do it at their own risk. But you got to move everything to the back end of the season. I've been screaming this for fucking years. Guys, we've been on this show full time for 5 years. Been doing this show every night for 5 years, and I've always said you need to do this in the spring. The one thing that the NFL has done right is get their calendar right. But the NCAA is nothing but jokes. They're nothing but a joke. They always have been. All right, last one says, bro, I'm 5'10". I'm not like a unit like you, but gain about 20 more pounds. You'd be right on, Steven. All right, we'll see y'all in the morning. It's going to be a very interesting day. See y'all soon. Peace.